Right, so I'm going to use a mixture of burnt umber and burnt sienna. Let's protect the paper from my hands, and we'll start trying to get some lines in and go from there. So you're going to work in this in layers. I always work in layers for anything I do. Keep looking at the direction the fur goes in as you do this. Some of the lines are wiggly, some of the lines are straight, so you've got to keep looking at that. Now obviously this is going to dry a lot lighter as it dries, so just go from there. Okay. Right, so I've just zoomed in a little bit for you so you can see where I am, and just make sure that you're covering the paper with your hand. And again, plenty of little lines. All this area here will be quite dark originally. When it's going to be finished, it'll be very dark to see. Just got to try and get that form. And you also got smaller lines which come over the cheek. I find this way, when you've got layers of detail, one on top of the other, and each layer gradually gets darker and darker, that's when it comes to life much more. Again, I'm looking at the direction, constantly glancing back and forward to my reference photo, which I've got on my tablet. I will continue to carry on like this for a little while. When I get to the next layer of paint, which will be probably a couple of hours away, I'll come back to you and you can see the next stage when I put the next layer on, just to give you a flavour, an idea on what I'm doing. One thing I am interested in doing, by the way, if anybody's interested, is to produce a full-length video, which I'll produce on a DVD, on how to paint, say, a dog or a cat from start to finish. So you can see exactly every method I do, every method I use on how I do this. That's as long as you've got plenty of patience to watch it, of course. Okay. Right, we'll leave it at that for now, and I'll come back to you shortly. Okay, welcome back. Right, what I'm going to work on next is a second layer. As I did say, that might take me a while, so now I've got a long grey Father Christmas beard. But, it's a bit of a shave first, maybe, I don't know. So now I'm using a darker mix of burnt sienna and burnt umber, but more on the burnt umber side, just to kind of slightly darken the areas. I do use black, before anybody asks me, but I tend to use that kind of sparingly, really. I don't use it too much, because it can be too dull, and obviously because of that, the colour can look very flat. But yeah, I do use it because you can add colour to it and kind of brighten the colour up a little bit, brighten the black up a little bit, so it's looking too dull. So let's say this is the second layer for the ear. Probably do about 3 or 4 layers for the ear. I just want to get this dark area in. In this area here, here. I do apologise, I like to joke about a bit. And so for example, around this area here, I will probably add a little bit of black to the colour, just to darken. I mean, obviously you can use blue to add that to your dark brown, but I do like to use black sometimes, as I mentioned. So as I said about this DVD, which I'm thinking of doing, is that this will give you full insight on how I paint, and that's from start to finish, literally from start to finish. and you'll be able to see the full process of the materials I use, how I mix the paints, obviously all the brushes I use, how I do the background, and especially how I do the eyes, because obviously the eyes are very important to try and get that life within the animal that you're trying to paint. Probably a bit of yellow ochre. Just knowing how to look at the colours and think, what can make that colour? And a lot of it is trial and error. All my painting experience has been just through trial and error. I've never been taught, I've never been to college. Where's it gone? Here it comes now. There you go. Just to give you an idea what I'm working from. Okay, see that? Right, hang on. Thank you. Right, so now you can see what I'm working from. You can see this beautiful little dog. Again, I'm looking at the direction the fur goes. Working with the same colour. I'm not changing my colour. Again, this is burnt umber and burnt sienna. And I'm just kind of layering it as I go along. Remember, every time you layer something, I can go with the same line. It could be twice as dark. Okay? Just using the same colour over and over again. But making sure you leave light areas in between. You don't want to completely fill the section in with detail. Not with the same colour. Not with the same tone, should I say. And there as well, look, just to break it up. Okay, and I think that'll probably about do for this layer. Let's want to bring this out here a minute, actually. Just saying that. That will about do for this layer, I think. Right, the next stage I'm going to show you is the next level of paint. I'm going to use a darker colour now, which is going to be burnt umber and with a little bit of lamp black. It's going to be the next stage of the darker shades. I'm going to start building up the detail and trying to get the form around the eye. Again, I'm looking at the detail, I'm looking at the shapes that are in there. Fairly dark around there. Okay. So gradually building as we go. I will pull some highlights off eventually as well, just I'll show you how to do that in a bit, but for now I just want to try and get the darker areas in now. It looks fairly dark into the folds of the fur. So this colour will tone down the burnt sienna, which you can see underneath. And it's small brush strokes, not long strikes like that, they're very small. The camera's shaking, I do apologise. It's also due to the technique I'm using. So I'll carry on with this now, and I'll let you know how I get on. I'll come back to you in a short while once I've got a little bit more done. Okay, while I've been kind of gone making a cup of tea, I'm back again now. Now this here has got 4 layers of paint on. I'll put an extra layer on while you've not been watching. Yeah, sorry about that. So what I want to do is take some highlights out now. So using my same brush, the 00, I just want to kind of take a few highlights out in places where some of the hairs are coming over, like for example here, on that area I think. Using a damp, clean brush, with clean water, going over the same area over and over again, same line, you can lift the paint off just a little bit, just kind of break it up and create a highlight area for some of the hairs which overlap the ear slightly. Okay, like so. Just a few. Again, going over the same area over and over again. Then whilst it's wet, lift it off with a tissue. Clean tissue, of course, with a kitchen roll. Like so. And the same around there. I need to do quite a few of these in places. You can see it's starting to lift, and it tends to stand out better on a darker paint. Right. A few more here. All I ask of you, as a way of thank you for doing this, to show you the way I tend to paint in places, is to share my work. If you share this video either through YouTube or Facebook, as I call it, Face8, it will help kind of get my work out there a little bit more to people that's not seeing it. Or you can direct them to my website, which is www.devonartist.co.uk, which is, hang on, let me have a look, it's just there we go, thank you. Got a few more highlights to take out around the ear, just down these areas here. Because the side of the ear tends to be quite textured in places. So I'm obviously layering these highlights step by step. Got a few I want to take out around here as well. I'll just take a couple there first. Once again, it's going to dry quite quickly. Depends on the temperature of the room, of course, but you don't want to do more than probably 2 at a time, because it can dry too quick and you don't get the effect you want, like that. So basically this is just a lifting out technique, or lifting off technique, which I do use a lot to kind of get the detail. People do say to me, you know, Paul, do you use white paint? I do use white paint. I use white watercolour and sometimes gouache, or gouache, depends how you pronounce it. And I also use white acrylic paint as well. So it depends on the situation that I'm faced with, really. If I want to be able to put the very, very, very white paint on there to make something stand out, I'll probably use acrylic. Right, so that should do for that area. And you can take a few highlights off around the ear as well. In places you can barely see what I'm doing now. Watch out for the run. Just a few highlights here and there. A little bit dark in places. And I want it to run the highlight into the dark area here, so again, go over the same place, then lift it off. And we'll do the same again. And lift it off. And so on and so on. Okay, we'll do a few here. I'll tell you one thing you could do if you don't mind. You know, I mentioned about sharing this with Facebook and YouTube, or both if you wish, if you don't mind, of course. One other thing you can have a look at if you want to is my website, which is, hang on a minute, let me just do that bit. Hang on a minute, let's bring it down for you. There we go. So www.devonartist.co.uk. So if you have a look at that, then you can pass that on if you don't mind. Okay, thank you for your help. Thank you. Bye.